Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. So myself, I'm Vijay. So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether the screen is visible or not?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So that I'm just going to cover the following topics as part of today's DJANGO, right? So first thing, you need to know something about this web terminologies. What is a framework? What is a web framework? And what is DJANGO? Why DJANGO? And its key advantages of DJANGO, right? Some history of DJANGO. Features of DJANGO. Companies which are using DJANGO. Difference between MVC and MVT architecture. MVC, which Java uses, and the MVT, that what Python uses, right? And DJANGO, job opportunities, job market and opportunities, right? Okay. Okay. Starting with web terminologies, right? Before we go with this, what is DJANGO, right? Why DJANGO? First, you need to know something about this web terminologies. Web terminologies. Web terminologies, right? Yes. Web terminologies, right? What is www? World Wide Web. What do you mean by internet? What is web page? Web page. What do you mean by a web page? Website. Web application. Web application, right? Yes. What is web browser? Web server, right? Web server. World Wide Web, internet, web page, website, web application, web browser, and web server, right? Yes. If we talk about this World Wide Web, www, right? Yes. www, the full form to its World Wide Web, right? Is what is it? World Wide Web is a system, right? It is a system, internet servers. So World Wide Web, it is a system of internet servers that supports hypertext documents, that supports hypertext documents. What do you mean by hypertext? Means hypertext means anybody can access anybody from this internet, right? It is a system of internet servers that supports hypertext documents. These documents we call as web pages. Generally, these documents are called as web pages. The starting point of a document, the starting point, generally we say the starting point in a document is known as home page. Generally home page, for any website we have home page, right? The starting point in a document is known as home page, and documents are known as web pages. So supports documents, right? So generally web pages are identified by their URL. So if you want any web page, right, they have got some URL associated, right? URL, uniform, right? What is the full form of it? Uniform resource locator. For example, right, every web page is going to have some. So for example, right, www.facebook.com, right? So here first, if you see, if you have observed this, why? Because whenever we're developing a web application, right, we are going to develop web application, you need to know about each and all this, right? The URL also, we are going to define URLs in our web pages, right? Second, fine. Web pages are identified by the URL facebook.com. So in this, if you observe that URL, if you have entered in the web page, right, you will be seeing something like http, right, colon forward slash http colon forward slash, and you will be giving this. If you observe any URL, it will be of this format, right? Yes. What does this URL indicates? So if you observe this URL, the URL has two components. The URL has two components mainly. Two components. That URL has two components. The first one is the protocol that we are using for transferring data, right? Yes, just observe this. The protocol is one. Second is what? The domain name. Second is what? Domain name. Okay. The protocol that is used to transport files, data across the internet, right? Yes. So protocol, there is first one is a protocol, right? That is HTTP that we are using here. Most of the here HTTP is the protocol that we use. That is used to transfer or transport data, right? Here HTTP is the protocol that is used. So other protocols also used, right? Other protocols also that are used by the browsers like FTP, file transfer protocol, the other things, right? Second, the URL as the first thing is what? Protocol. Second one is what? Domain name, the domain name, right? Second component specifies the domain name. What is this domain name? Domain name for the machine on which the home page is found, right? Home page is found. Observe this. Domain name for the machine on which the home page is found, right? Facebook. Okay. Yeah, facebook.com, right? Yes. Okay. Okay, next is you need to know something about internet. Difference between www and internet, right? Yes. Difference between internet and World Wide Web. What is internet? I can say it is a huge network of networks. It can say it is a huge network of network. It is it is huge network of networks. It collects millions of computers. It connects millions of computers. Forming a very large network. In which any computer can communicate. Any computer can communicate. Any other computer. Any computer can communicate with any other computer. Okay, fine. This is a network of network. It connects millions of forming a very in which computer can communicate with any other computer as long as they are connected in internet, right? Yes. Now, if I see, okay, this is internet. What is difference between World Wide Web? World Wide Web, right? Yes.
It's actually a service provided by the internet.
Yes. Is a way of, I can say it is a way of accessing. It is a way of accessing information over the internet, right? It's a way of accessing information over the internet. Yes, as you said, right? Yes, World Wide Web is a service. Service of internet. it is a information sharing model. Is an information sharing model, right? So internet is a network of networks. The World Wide Web is a service of internet. Yes. www was introduced in the year 1969, right? Previously, the name of the internet was ARPANET. Now later it was changed to internet. Okay, this is something about this internet and World Wide Web, right? Next is web page. What is a web page? Okay. It is a document. Web page is a document written in a language, like HTML. It is written in a language like HTML, right? Yes, it's a document written in a language like HTML, which enables us to bring together all the text, images, audio, video, links, etc. all to one place. So the starting point in a document is known as web pages, right? You have what URLs I said. Fine. What is a website?
It's a collection of all these web pages together.
Yes. It's a group of interlinked web pages. I can say web pages, group of web pages forms a website. Group of interlinked web pages. It's a group of interlinked web pages. Which have a single domain name, which have a single domain name, right?
Yes.
So this website, generally who maintains the website? Website maintained by individuals, business, or organizations. Website maintained by individuals, business, or organizations. Yes. What is a web application? Application program, right? It is application program which runs on a web browser, and that uses a web technology. To perform operations over the internet. Web application, right, which runs on a web browser and uses it web technology, right? Sorry, which runs on web server. Sorry. Which runs on a web server and uses a web technology and web browser to perform operations over the internet, right? So generally, why website? Generally here, why we go for website? Why we website? To switch, okay, to just showcase your products and services. Products and services, right? Yes.
Yes.
So just to showcase your products and services. Generally, website you will be keeping about your product information and the services provided, right? And also websites, why we go for websites means individuals can have business and organizations, for example branding your business.
Information exchange.
Yes, allows to increase, right? Allows to increase customer support. Okay, so mainly for showcase your products, expose your products and services, branding your business, and to increase your customer support. What is a web browser? It is basically a software, I can say. Generally, we use it's a software that we use for browsing, and we provide request, and we provide that is the place where we provide request, right? And we provide request for web pages using it. And what the web server, right? Web server. It refers to software. It refers to software, right? It refers to software that provides its users with the requested documents via web browser. Via web browser, right? Yes. Yes. So it refers to software that provides its users with the requested documents via web browsers. So this is something about the term, basic terminologies you need to know. What is World Wide Web, what is internet, web page, website, web application, web browser, and web server, right? That's fine. Next, coming to this, right? What is a web framework? Web framework, what is teaching? Now coming to this. Web framework. I can say it is a code library, right? It is a code library which helps flexible web applications. So it is a code library which helps you to build flexible web applications, right? So what are the various web frameworks provided by Python, right? Various web frameworks. What are the various web frameworks provided by Python, right? Yes. DJANGO is one of the framework provided. It's a web framework. Flask, Pyramid, TurboGear, Bottle. DJANGO, Flask, Pyramid, TurboGear, Bottle are among all this is the mostly used framework. DJANGO and Flask are the mostly used frameworks. Yes. So DJANGO is providing many flexible features for developing web application at a rapid speed. You can develop a web application, right? Okay, fine. So what is DJANGO? Next, what is DJANGO? It is a web development, right? It is a web development framework for Python. So the most famous framework among all is DJANGO, where it is providing many flexible features. It has got its own database available, right? Which offers a fast and effective website building, website development, right? Fast and yes. DJANGO, right? It can be used, it helps or it uses building, right? Just building quality web applications. building and maintaining quality web applications. What are the advantages, right? Advantages we see. Advantages. Advantages and features means first thing is it is very easy to set up and run. It provides, DJANGO provides, right? We don't need to write huge codings in DJANGO, right? Already the code available, right? Pre-written, but we are saying ready to use user interface. For administrative activities, right? For administrative activities. So using DJANGO, right, we can build all types of systems, like social networks, scientific computing platforms. It provides end-to-end. It provides end-to-end application testing. Powerful, it has got a powerful URL system, right? It has got powerful URL system, right? It has got a built-in, I can say it has got a built-in authentication system. It has got automatic admin interface, I can say admin interface. Means for functionality for adding. For adding, editing, and deleting items. So it is functionality. It has got automatic admin interface functionality for adding, editing, and deleting items. Generally, we write SQL queries, right, in database for creating, for adding a new record, for editing a record, update command, for deleting, right? But here we have got many automatic admin interface functionality, right? Just plus symbol will be there for adding, for removing, but just by clicking those, the editing, deleting, and adding will be happening right here. We don't need to write any queries here. We don't need to write queries here in this DJANGO, right, as we do in SQL. If we see advantages, features, and characteristics. Advantages, features, and characteristics of DJANGO, right? And one more thing, as compared to, you may ask, as compared, why we have got Java, .NET, from the last 20-25 years, they are used for developing web applications. Yes, Bootstrap also included in this part. So one more thing is very less coding you see, very less code you see, right? And nothing is not repeated, right? Not repeated. No need to repeat that same application again and again. We can reuse the application. Fast development. We can see fast development at a rapid speed. We got some reliable application development, right? Consistent design. It maintains a clean design, make easy to follow the best web development practices, right? Yes. So DJANGO, if you see the history of DJANGO, it was introduced in the year 2005, right? The name of a guitarist, DJANGO is the name of a guitarist, right? In the year 2008, it was declared as the DJANGO Software Foundation. In the year 2008, right? DJANGO Software, just like Python Software Foundation, we got DJANGO Software, which maintains DJANGO. The first version, DJANGO version, was released in the year 2009. 2005, it was introduced. 2008, it was DSF, DJANGO Software Foundation was formed. And in 2009, the first version was released. Now the version that what we are using is fourth version, DJANGO 4. Okay, some of the companies that are using DJANGO, right? You can just Google and check. We'll see many DJANGO and Python applications. Companies using DJANGO. NASA is using this DJANGO. Pinterest. Mozilla. Discovery Channel, right? Bitbucket. There are some applications like Discuss. YouTube. PBS. Instagram. National Geographic. National Geographic channel also, right? Using this channel. Google. So there are many other things, right? Mostly like NASA, Discovery Channel, Bitbucket, Discuss, YouTube, PBS, Instagram. So next, if I see the differences between, so here in Java, we use MVC architecture, difference between MVC and MVT architecture, MVC and MVT architecture, right? What is MVC? Model view controller, right? In Java, we use this. Model view controller. MVT means, right, MVT. Model view template. MVC and MVT architecture we see, right? Yes. So in MVC architecture, for example, the main difference between MVC and MVT, right? In MVC, we have to write all the controller specific code, right? But here in MVT, all that is taken care by the framework itself. For example, you have to display a list of books. Assume that you have to display a list of books you have in a library, right? The name of the table is books. The name of the table is books. In MVC architecture, you need to write the code to fetch the list of books. You need to write the code for fetch the list of books from the database. So we are okay. Again, we need to map it with some URL, again send it to the user, but in DJANGO, right, in frameworks like DJANGO, you no need to write any code related to fetching data from database and mapping it. So here, even we are not going to write any SQL kind of queries. Without that queries itself, we can create tables, and we can insert data, we can retrieve data. That's it. It has got its own database MVT. Most of the features we see, you are not going to write all that. Really, if you see like 60% of the code is already available, right? Only 40% just will write as per the business logic, business implementation. if you just open 1 second, I'll let you know. Autumn. Autumn ID, web applications development. See this project, my project 1, project 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, my project 18. See if you open any of this, right, there will be okay, project folder, application folder, right? If you open this project folder, so by default all these files we won't create, automatically they get created. See, this is your project folder, you will see all the .py files. In application folder also we have got many .py files. None of the file we have created. Automatically whenever you create a project, whenever you create application, these files are get created. But you need to have the idea what is this settings.py, what is urls.py, what is admin.py, what is apps.py, models.py, test.py, views.py. Views.py will be writing the business logic. In settings, like anything settings related to database, I mean any other settings, right? In settings, in URL, what is the URL you want to specify on the web browser, right? That URL you will be specifying within this urls.py. So we'll be discussing all this .py files. There are some inbuilt py files will be available, right? .py files. So in the project folder you will see some, in application folder we see some, right? We will be discussing about each and every .py file in brief later. If you open this settings.py, just observe this. We'll close all this. So it is nothing, this is nothing we have written, it's already available, right? Settings.py is already available, all settings related. So here templates folder, okay. Databases, if you want to configure any database, how simple configuring a database in here, right? Here SQLite 3 is the database. DJANGO has got its own database called SQLite 3. SQLite 3, right? So you just remove this SQLite 3 and keep Oracle to connect with Oracle. Remove this SQLite 3 and give MySQL to connect with MySQL. Next, give that name of the database, username of that, and password of this. Just include 2 more lines in this: username of the database, password of the database. That's it. It gets connected with the database, right? No other modules, nothing required here. Just give here the database name and you just give the username and password of the database here, 2 lines. So in this way, for anything, if you want to connect with any of this, right, we have got, okay, one second. Okay, so in model view template, here in this, everything taken care by the framework itself, right? Yes. So as I said, today if you ask queries, why we need to go for Django web applications creations, right? First thing is very less coding you are going to see as compared with the other web development technologies, right? If you see, Django has got very less coding, everything taking it by the framework. Just see, for creating, just you will be giving that project name, application name, and if you say enter, right, the project name and application, the project and application folder, both going to get created. And within that project folder, you will see many .py files. In application folder, you will see many .py files, right? Okay.
Vijay, I have a question.
Yes.
See, I am a Python developer. Suppose I am to be a Python developer. So, is it necessary for me go for this Django?
See, okay, Python developer, right? So one second. So there are, okay, as I was saying, right? One second.
Because I am technology purely working on PySpark.
So one second. So who should go for Django, right? Yes. So Python, there are many people like today, if you see directly or indirectly, if you go to any software field, Python is required, right? As an implementation, any technology. So here there are two categories of people who updates with Python. First category of people learns that entire Python, right? And they'll go, their first category of people, their career won't be in Python. Their career will be in data science environment. Their career will be in big data like Spark environment. They're in robotics, right? If you see robotics with Python, we have got like huge packages available. And IoT implementation in Python or DevOps environment. So for all this, you will just update with Python, you learn Python, and total data science implementation goes in Python. Means if many modules Python is providing, NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, CP, Scikit-learn, right? This way many modules available for data science environment. So total coding in Python, even in big data like Spark with Python, we say like PySpark, right? So here and robotics, we will write many scripts, automation scripts in robotics, IoT, and DevOps, right? We are going to write many automation scripts using Python. Means you are updating with Python and just implementing the Python. So Python is used as an implementation language in all this, right? So for this, your role will be, you are not like a career is not in Python, in data science or in big data and robotics, IoT, but implementation language that you use is Python, right? But the second category of people who wants to have a career in Python itself, who wants to have a career in Python, who wants to become a Python developer, right? To become a Python developer. So Python developer compulsory requires the framework. You need to have the knowledge of the framework, Django framework. So Django framework, especially I'm saying, right, to create a web application, in data science or big data on this, right, you are not developing any web applications there. Here we will develop online applications, right? Here we will develop online applications. Here, if you talk about in big data and data science, like most of the cases we will be going with the batch applications, not online applications, batch applications. If you go for big data environment, all this, you'll do with batch applications means user non-interactive. This web application means user interactive applications. User interactive applications, web applications. Means user gives the input, user gives the request in the browser, user gets the response from the server. Here request response, give request, get response. This request response architecture. But if you talk about this big data or this most of the cases, right, master slave architecture. This is not a request response. Here batch up, most of these times batch applications means where user interaction is nowhere required. User is nowhere required at all. Here user won't give any input. Here in web application, if you talk about user should give that input, user only should give that request in the browser, gets the response. Here most of these applications, if we talk about financial applications, many other business applications, right, they are batch applications. Credit card, generating credit card bills for millions of customers, right? No user is nowhere required. Phone bill generation, right? Phone bill generating for millions of customers. Railway ticketing PNR status means the every, if you see that you are waiting state 200, 150, 100, 50, finally your ticket gets confirmed. Here user is nowhere required for those kind of applications. Automate, everything going to get automated. So for all this robotics, IoT, DevOps also, everything is getting automated without the help. With no user is no way required here. User is without the help of the user only. Yes, these are batch applications, but here in web applications compulsory user should give that input. If you perform an online, for example, booking a movie ticket, user required, right? Online application, booking a movie ticket or a railway ticket or making a online transaction, that. So this, those who wants to create a web application, who wants to become a Python developer, right? So who wants to design a web page with different colors, fonts, links, images, if you want to present your data on the web page. Yes, but here we have got like technologies like HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, right? So using, so HTML is the language, right? For these web pages where we can embed images, fonts, frames, tables, links, all this, right? So, but it is only static. It is only static. Just there is no dynamism in that, right? But using first you will design a web page. After web page using Python, right? Python will be there in the middle, and here database will be there. Database. So interaction between the web page, Python, and the database. So if you talk about a form, if you take a registration form, you will enter the registration form. If you click submit button, then the Python need to take that to database, should go and store in the database. And tomorrow, like Python need to take the data. If you want to retrieve the data, I want only those customers whose balance is about 10 lakhs. So Python will bring the data from the database and display on the browser. So there should be any technology, right? Like Python or Java, like this, right? Between the interaction between this, right? So here, this is what M we say, database we say is M. This Python V, and this we say T. MVT, MVT architecture. M means models. Models means databases. View means Python functional views and class views. T means templates. Yes, totally. I'll be showing you the installation of MySQL and also working with MySQL database. And even if you got Oracle, right? Connecting to Oracle. Yes. Okay. Fine. MVT architecture is followed here. So that's what I was talking about. You can just, I'm not saying like everyone need to go for this DJANGO. Like if you want to become a Python, if you know Python, if you want to go one step forward to updating with the framework also. But I say it's not like you are writing huge applications, huge codings. You are not going to see huge codings here. Simple steps required here to the, so we can create a web application, right? Simple steps with less coding. So the advantage, you may ask, already Java.NET from last 20-25 years they are developing web applications. Why Python now? Means Python, people are getting attracted towards Python, means the programmers or developers are attracted towards Python because of this Python or DJANGO, because of its in web applications creations, very less steps involved, very less coding involved, simple syntaxes involved, everything is ready made available, everything is ready made. For example, if you want to run a server, just this button is there. If you click this button, server starts. This is what server stops. We don't need to write any codes for this. And if you want to create a project or application, right, just to give the project name here, give the application name here, click create, then your project and application folder gets created. and all the .py files. Already I said all the .py files already readily available. You don't need to write all those .py files. Already all the .py files already readily available whenever you create project, whenever you create application, right? Whenever you create a project folder, you will get a 5.py files. Whenever you create application, compulsory application folder required within the project, again you will get some 5.py files. We no need to write already available, that .py files are already available. Just will make some small changes as per the business requirements. That's fun. And starting and requesting on the browser, everything, right? So I'll be showing like 20 applications creations, right? 20 apps creations as part of this course. First two, see, first 1, 2, 3 applications, you may feel something new, but later from 4th, 5th application, you'll come to know what you are performing. So first, the steps are going to be the same for every web applications creations. I'll show you step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. So the steps will be same for the all the applications, but if you want to embed some images, if you want to embed some with different colors, fonts, some Bootstrap means some predefined styles available. Some predefined styles are available already. That styles you want to bring into your applications, you want to use some. Otherwise, you can go for CSS cascading style sheets, we say, first telling this. So yes. So yes. So as part of this course, right, if you see the course content for this DJANGO introduction, key advantages, history, features, characteristics, web framework, DJANGO installation. DJANGO installation hardly takes 2 minutes, 5 minutes, right? We need to create some virtual environment. It hardly takes 2 to 5 minutes. DJANGO project architecture. So one by one .py files I'll be discussing. Manage.py, what is urls.py, settings.py. So exploring all these .py files, URL, settings, admin, models, views, applications, creations, and examples, right? And steps, what are the steps involved in creating applications? One by one step. DJANGO views, DJANGO templates, DJANGO admin panel, right? DJANGO models, databases, advanced concepts, object relational model, some faker models, creating some fake data for testing purpose, class-based views, functional-based views, model forms, migrations, connecting with SQLite, connecting with MySQL database, connecting with Oracle database, like ORM, working with audio and video. I'll be showing some audio and video kind of applications also, how to creation of audio and video, and uploading and downloading files, sessions, security, deployment process, multi-select fill, and embedded video, right? So I said I'll be showing you 20 applications. So you'll be doing parallelly along with me step by step. So before I go with DJANGO, right, I'll be giving you the knowledge on HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, and JavaScript, right? So next, I'll be first after this introductory sessions, right? I'll be going with HTML first, hypertext markup language, right? So tomorrow, just I'll show you one sample application, web application creation, that you can just check how simple creating a book without any knowledge. We didn't discuss anything about the Django, right? Just one application I'll show you, and I'll just go with the introduction to that HTML, right? HTML tags will discuss. So yes, so the timing 9 o'clock, 9 to 11, right? So first this week will be taking less time, but next week onwards we go with 9 o'clock to 11, 9 to 11, 9 to 11 on Saturday, 9 to 11 on Sunday, right? Later, if your applications, bigger applications, I'll extend up to 11:30 also. If you go with the next coming, once applications creations, I'll extend to 11:30, if possible 12 also, the coming sessions. So first discussion will be on HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Bootstrap. After 1 month or after the completion of all this, then I'll be going with the Django framework, right? Yes. So don't worry, those who are already updating with Python, first I'll be going with HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, these things, right? By the time it gets completed, right? So those who are already updating with Python currently, who are going with Python parallel, right? Yes. So any queries from your side? Any queries as part of what we have discussed relating to Django application creations?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, this is a weekend batch, right?
Yeah, weekend batch, yes.
Okay, sir.
It's only a weekend batch, right? It's only a weekend batch.
So 20 applications are there, no? It's a same type of applications or different type of applications? Sir?
Different types of applications will be creating.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Sir, what is the duration of course, sir?
So it's a 10 weekends course.
Sir, will you
So
teach
10 weekends.
MySQL full course or only installation?
MySQL installation, basic that operations, basic operations of this, how to perform those various operations. Later using the framework, right? How we can going to perform. So whatever you do, anything, right? Everything should be reflected and will be stored in the MySQL, right? So without opening MySQL, whatever we do in this Django applications creations, the outputs, everything should be reflected in the database. Just I'll be giving the knowledge on MySQL, performing basic operations on that, and later we go with this, right? Yes. Yeah, any more queries? So tomorrow you can join the session same time at 9 o'clock, but next week onwards we'll start with that. Tomorrow I'll show some basic web application creation, once how this web application creation happens, and HTML. I'll be discussing about HTML. Okay. So fine. So I'll stop here for today. So meet you. This today is just an introductory session, right? So tomorrow we'll go with that application. Just I'll show sample application and HTML will be continued. So you should do those. You can do parallel along with me from tomorrow itself, right? Creation of web page, statement by statement. You will be typing along with me. Check that. Okay. Fine.
Hello.
Yes. Yes.
Hi, Vijay. Dhananjay this side. Could you please share recording session with us?
Yes. 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 You'll be getting the result. So you will be getting the recorded videos also, right? Every session. If you are unable to attend or because of some other reasons, you will be getting this every session recorded. Every session will be recorded. You will be getting the recorded videos. So initially I'll be taking 2 hours, but later after 5 weeks it will be for 3 hours, right? It will be like somewhere like 2.5 to 3 hours, depending upon our applications creations. If we want to go with more applications, it will later I'll just have a talk with you about the timings. I'll extend to 3 hours on Saturday and 3 hours on Sunday. Okay?
Hi, Vijay, Rupesh this side.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, could you please explain one more time difference between MVC and MVT?
So main reason in MVC is everything we need to write, the code we have to write, right? For even if you want to fetch any data from the database, or if you want to insert data into that, we need to write queries, right? But here we don't know, we are not going to write any queries. For example, I want to add a record into a database here in Django, right? Just add, there will be a button add. If you click add, how many records you want to add, you can keep adding. If you want to delete, the delete button available here, right? All this, that such kind of flexible options it is provided, Django is providing. Means if you want to add elements to database, we no need to write any kind of SQL queries. And also in that MVC, right, we are going to write code for each and everything. But here we don't need to write any of this code. And here that MVC, here MVT, right? Here M for models, that is different. That architecture is different. This architecture is totally different. Here M means models, databases. Here view means views. Python views, Python business logic implementation, like using Python functional based views, Python class based views. And templates means you will be designing the web pages accordingly using this HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, and you have got ready-made styles available, right? We are going to bring it. How this interaction goes using this MVT architecture. Later, I discuss in brief about this architecture as part of our course, right? Before we go with the DJANGO. And architecture means from the total process I'll be explaining, right? From the starting from where you give the request in the web browser, from there where it goes, how the control is moving within the web application, finally how you are getting the output on the web browser. That entire process I'll be discussing in brief, right? Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Fine. So if I'm done with your queries, then I'll sign off for today. Yes, if you can see that if you want, anybody wants to get enrolled, if you're not enrolled with this course, you can just see that details about that enrollment process, right? The contact details of this online team is provided, and the payment process and details you can see in the chart panel. Okay, fine. So I'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. Yes. Tomorrow my discussion will be on HTML, and I'll show one sample application before it. Right? Okay, fine. Thank you all for your time. Thank you for attending. Yes. See you tomorrow, same time, using the same link, right?